Hey everybody. I wanted to get this story out of the way. You guys know how I feel about Carlethia Russell, right? You know that I really felt um, her creating this story and how it got so big and how she used those resources that are really for crime victims. I wasn't happy about that. And at a point, I really felt like she would come to a point of um, really just trying to seek some forgiveness for the mistake of creating this whole elaborate um, scheme to fake her own abduction and pretend that all these things happened to her, but they didn't. And that hasn't really come out. She doesn't really have a real apology, in my opinion. So I know that she came out with her written statement, and we're going to go over that tonight. We're going to go over her written statement because she was found guilty. So she had two charges against her. She pled not guilty. The judge determined that she was guilty, and she had already planned to appeal it, right? Now, the reason that she wanted to appeal the judge's ruling is because the charges they um, recommended 6 months each of jail time. So each charge with the conviction would be 6 months. Now, I don't know if they were going to run them concurrent, meaning essentially you only do 1 month, one set of 6 months for both charges, or consecutive. So you would have 6 months for the first charge and then 6 months for the second charge. But the important part is she does not want to go to jail. Now, because she doesn't have a prior record, I guess she's standing on, well, show me cases where a person that didn't have a prior record went to jail for these charges. However, I believe to due to her continuing the scam, not just going missing and coming back and saying, "Hey, I'm sorry, I wasn't missing," by creating the story, going to the hospital for injuries, not cooperating with law enforcement, revealing where she was, if she received any help, um, the public coming together, doing searches for her. Um, it really, really was upsetting to the community and really across the country, right? People were really disturbed. They wondered if there was still a missing toddler. She did use race. She said that the toddler was a white toddler, that she was abducted by a white person. So all these things, I believe, is why the prosecutor recommended 6 months. Now, each charge you could have got up to a year, so they went and met halfway at 6 months. So she does not want to do any jail time now. I'm going to talk about that later, in my personal opinion, but um, I want to go over what happened at the hearing. Well, not at the hearing, but she was convicted. Okay, she went to the hearing. She was convicted. I want to go over that, and then I want to go back to her written statement, and then I'll give you my opinion of everything. And I'm not going to take up too much time because I have zero interest in Mrs. Russell until she comes back with a changed mindset, a changed heart. Um, I'm not really interested in continuing talking about her, but she's dragging us on, right? She's continuing to not just take this and move on with her life. She's fighting it as if she is not guilty. And in all reality, she had an omission in her written statement that she lied. So I don't know how she's doing that or what thought process she's in. And I'm pretty much sure her attorney or attorneys have kind of tried to inform her, listen, you do not want to take this to trial. If you take it to trial, instead of that 6 months, it will probably be 1 year for each conviction. And also, I want to talk about, can we see more charges, right? We do not want to forget the alleged theft of the robe, right, and the tissue from her prior employer. Can we see more charges? Is it now time to pursue additional charges against Carlethia Russell? She is not contrite. She is not showing the regret for what has happened, what she has caused. I think it is time to go back and charge her with additional crimes. The theft allegedly of the robe and tissue. Okay, let's go over it. So we're going to pick up with NBCnews.com. The article is from October the 11th. It's by Diana Dazraff and Phil Hessel. And the title of the article is Carlethia Russell, Alabama woman who made up kidnapping, is found guilty and plans appeal. Okay. So the judge in the misdemeanor case did not hear evidence, and the verdict allows her to appeal the case to state court, which she plans to do. Carlethia Russell, the Alabama woman who made up a story of seeing a toddler by the side of the road and then being kidnapped, was found guilty of misdemeanor counts Wednesday and plans to appeal, a court official said. Hoover Municipal Judge Brad Bishop found Russell guilty of 2 counts related to the July hoax, Municipal Court Director Susan Fuqua said. Russell, who has admitted that she lied about the kidnapping and the toddler, pleaded not guilty Wednesday in court, she said. Her attorney stipulated an appeal before the verdict, Fuqua said. So before the judge entered the verdict, she had already made the court aware that she was going to appeal it. So she's going to appeal it. Why? I have no idea. It makes no sense. I'm sure her attorney or attorneys advised her, do not do this. I personally believe there is some influence, possibly by the parents, to take this on, which is not going to be to any avail. It really is. It's going to be a waste of money. And she's already admitted to both crimes in her written statement, and that's why we're going to review it, okay? Anyway, let's move forward. The case will now go before Bessemer Circuit Court in Jefferson County. She has apologized for what transpired, Russell's attorney, Emory Anthony, told reporters Wednesday. Well, she did more than an apology, okay, but Anthony said that jail time was being sought, which we totally disagree with, and that with the appeal, the case will start anew in circuit court, NBC affiliate WVTM of Birmingham reported. Anthony told NBC News later that Russell's legal team disagreed with the plea offer and appealed it to the circuit court. WVTM reported that the judge's decision was procedural because a verdict is necessary for an appeal that takes it to that state court. On July 13th, Russell reported seeing a toddler in a diaper on the side of an interstate as she drove in Hoover, a city of around 92,000 south of Birmingham. She then disappeared, and the large search for her captured national attention. She returned home 2 days later, on July 15th, and said she'd been kidnapped and forced into an 18-wheeler. A little more than a week later, Russell said in a statement through her attorney that she lied about being kidnapped and had never seen a toddler. She was charged in July with misdemeanor counts of false reporting to law enforcement authorities. First charge, false reporting to law enforcement authorities. Thus, the 911 call. That is a false report and falsely reporting an incident. When she returned, she said she was abducted. Do you understand? Do you follow the criminal logic? Okay. Russell is free on bond. The sentence in municipal court was restitution of $17,974 and 120 days in jail on each of the two charges, Fuca said. Her attorneys have requested a jury trial in the appeal to state court. Now, do you guys believe that anyone is going to find her not guilty with her own admission with an apology? You don't get to not take the punishment. This is what I'm saying. This is what I've been trying to convey. When you do something wrong, part of taking responsibility is also the punishment. You may have a fear of going to jail. You may have a fear of losing that time. You may have a fear of having this criminal record. But the reality is, when you break the law, when you commit a crime, you have committed a crime. You have lied. You have brought all of these services that are here to help you, to find you, to look for you, to try to return you back safely. You've caused all of these things to happen. And now on the back end, you don't want to take responsibility. You don't want to take accountability. And that means going to jail. Now, they offered 6 months for each charge. You could have received up to 1 year for each charge. Now, are you going to do 6 months for each charge? Probably not. But you feel that you should not do any jail time. And that is not how it works, right? It's so frustrating because people do not think of the response to their behavior. When you're being held accountable, there is a response to that. And people don't feel that they should have to pay the cost, that there should be no punishment for their actions. But that is not reality. That is not how things work. You're out on bond, you're free, you're walking around. You're appealing it because you're not satisfied, because you were going to receive jail time. And now, by you fighting it further, you're making the court now have to invest more time in. They're going to go for the 1 year. I would go for the 1 year. And they may even now bring the additional charges of the alleged theft of the robe and also the tissue. You could have taken this and moved on. People would have eventually forgot about you, maybe laughed, talked about it, brought it up. But by you pursuing this case, keep going on and on, you're making it worse for yourself. They may have even been able to set up some kind of deal where this is possible expungement. Hey, you do community service, you do this or that, and this will be taken off your record in 5 years. No trouble in 5 years, 3 years, something like that. You can't have it all. You can't do something wrong and then expect that you're going to dictate the punishment. And I hope your attorneys, and I believe they did, or he did, express to you that this was not a bad outcome. But I believe something else is happening behind the scenes, and someone else is telling you, don't do it. You should not receive the jail time. So you're pursuing it. You're going to appeal it, and that's fine. That's your legal right. But I'm also going to go over what you said. These are your written statements, not mine. And this is what you said happened. And we're going to go over it and we're going to talk about it.
I'm not sure I understand.
So let's go there. So we're going to go to penlive.com. The title of the article is Carly Russell's attorney releases statement saying abduction was fabricated. It's dated July 25th, 2023. The attorney for Carly Russell, who was reported missing on July 13th after calling 911 to report a toddler walking along I-495 in Hoover, Alabama, said Monday the abduction was fabricated. The sad thing is that there were so many people involved who took this thing seriously, Hoover Police Chief Nick Durzis said. The Hoover Police Department held a press conference regarding the 25-year-old's disappearance and their efforts to find her for several days. Her attorney, Emory Anthony, sent a written statement to Hoover Police Chief Durzis, who read the statement aloud to the media just after 5 p.m. I also want to say this too. That Hoover Police Department, they did an excellent job. I can recall when they got up there at the press conference, they said, we reached out to her family, to her again, before we came here, before we got in front of this media, to express that we asked again, is there anything that you need to make us aware of? Because they did not believe her. It took me about a couple of days because I'm busy. I'm a busy girl. I told y'all before. I'm a busy woman. And I didn't have time to really, go over what was said. But my first mind said, mean and tell me, once I see the video, all these cars on this highway. Now it's dark, but those semis have lights and they can see. Like I told you before, you can follow them anywhere. They will take you wherever you need to go. And they didn't see a toddler. They weren't even seeing anything or concern for her car to the side. I didn't believe it. The story did not make sense. And even when she came back the 2 days later and started describing, I was in a 18-wheeler and they took me into the house. They took pictures. I'm sorry, it just didn't sound believable. Even her being in the same vicinity as the location where she was taken. Most people that are taken, they don't stay within the same area. They're traffic out of the state, taken to a different area. I mean, her story wasn't believable, not to me, and I don't think the police was buying it either. And that's why they said in the statement, we went back to try to make sure the family did not want to change what we were going to present because they knew it was a cockamamie story. Okay, my client has given me permission to make the following statement on her behalf. There was no kidnapping on Thursday, July 13, 2023. My client did not see a baby on the side of the road. My client did not leave the Hoover area when she was identified as a missing person. My client did not have any help in this incident. This was a single act done by herself. My client was not with anyone or at any hotel with anyone from the time she was missing. Well, where was she? Where did she go? What was she doing? How did she get to wherever she went for 2 days? They searched that area. Where was she hiding? Or what was she doing? Or where did she physically go? Who helped her? How did she get there? My client apologizes for her actions to this community, the volunteers who were searching for her, to the Hoover Police Department and other agencies as well, to her friends and family. We ask for your prayers for Carly as she addresses her issues and attempts to move forward, understanding that she made a mistake in this matter. Carly again asks for your forgiveness and prayers. Durzis said police are now considering possible criminal charges against Russell. He also said police have scheduled a meeting with Anthony to further discuss the case on Tuesday and interview Russell. But remember, she did not go to the police interview. She did not attend it. Anthony has not said where Russell spent the 49 hours she was gone. Excuse me. Russell told detectives she was taken by a man with orange hair who emerged from the trees when she stopped to check on the child, put her in a car and an 18-wheel truck, blindfolded her, and held her at a home where a woman fed her cheese crackers, authorities said at a news conference last week. At some point, she said she was put in a vehicle again but managed to escape and run through the woods to her neighborhood. Investigators said they doubted her story in a news conference last week. Russell reappeared at her parents' home on July 15th as she reportedly claimed she had escaped a kidnapping attempt. But since her reappearance, investigators said they were unable to find any evidence that there was a toddler or that Russell was kidnapped. According to reports, Russell has been fired from her job at Wood House Spa in Birmingham. The business owner, Stuart Rome, reportedly said that Russell was let go Friday. Police also said that in the lead up to her disappearance, Russell did Google searches for the movie Taken, whether she was too old to have an Amber Alert issued for her, the price of a one-way bus ticket to Nashville, Tennessee, as well as how to take money from a register without being caught. Excuse me. Durgis said he was at a loss after he was asked what Russell's motive was for faking the abduction. I wish I could tell you, but I think only Carly knows, and maybe now her attorney, he said. Listen, I have never been concerned about a motive. People do things for all kind of reasons that defy logic, that defy understanding. I'm not trying to create any reasoning behind it. There was something going on with Miss Russell in her mind. And she planned this, she decided to do this thing, and she did it. And she may have had help, we don't know. But what we do know is it was all a lie. It was not real. And she has to be held accountable for that. So I'm going to have to make another video when she goes back to court on this appeal, unfortunately. But I think it's time that the police move on some additional charges for the alleged theft from her prior employer. And I think if they go to circuit court on this appeal, that they ask for the max amount of time, that being 1 year for each crime. And maybe this will teach her a lesson, and this will also reflect out to other people that are thinking about doing something like this type of hoax, that this is not something you should be doing. You should be thinking about. Spend your time building yourself up, pursuing your dreams, planning for your future, creating goals for yourself. Not this mess here. This is complete absurd time spent, wasted time. This woman, she comes from a stable home. She comes from a family, people that care about her, people that are going to be concerned about her, want the best for her, putting forth opportunities to help her, to guide her, that want to see her win, want to see her go to college and make something of her life. This right here is a travesty. It is a waste. This is something that she should not even have on her mind at her age. She is not a young child. She is a grown woman. This is not a mistake. This is poor decisions. This is a corrupt mind full of just thinking up, just stupid, wasteful, ridiculous things like this. Why do you need this negative attention? Go and be somebody, create something, invest in someone, build something. Let you be recognized in honor, in your value, in your strength, that you're bringing something, not this negative bull crap. You bring dishonor to your family. Learn to have righteous thoughts, positive thoughts, thoughts of success. Hold yourself accountable in a high regard as a strong woman. Be that example. Be a leader in your community. Demonstrate that. You're gonna have to make amends for what you did, Mrs. Russell. And I hope they order you to put in some time in some community organizations, make you volunteer with the police, make you go and work for some of these groups that came and searched for you, looked for you, volunteered their time because they care. They're unpaid. And while you were pretending to be missing, there's children that are really going missing every day that look just like you and they look like me, and they're not coming back home. Their family's devastated. So I hope you learn something from this. Don't be too proud, too arrogant to learn from your mistakes. This is a lesson. That's all I got. That's all I got. I don't have any more for you guys tonight. I'm done. Thanks for checking out this video. Remember to stay smart, stay safe, stay savvy. Take care of yourself. Be well. I will see you soon. Check out some of my other videos. Bye, my friends. Take care, everybody. Bye. See you guys.